I never thought I'd kill a man with paperwork. But that's exactly what I did to Victor Hale. Not with a bullet or a blade, nah. That'd be too quick. Too merciful for a snake like him. I drowned him in his own lies. One subpoena at a time, until the feds dragged him out in cuffs while his empire crumbled like a stale bagel on the subway floor. It started with a kiss. Not the romantic kind you see in those Hallmark movies my mom used to binge on Lifetime, but the Judas variety, wet,
Urgent?
and laced with the kind of betrayal that leaves you tasting copper.
Victor Hale.
The golden boy of Wall Street. The guy who'd charm a jury into acquitting Satan himself. Leaned in close during that rooftop party at the Standard Hotel, his breath hot against my ear as he whispered, "You're my secret weapon,
Delilah.
no one sees you coming." I was 28, fresh off a JD. From Columbia, interning at his firm under the table because affirmative action quotas didn't apply to the shadows where deals like ours got done. He called me his affirmative distraction, a joke that landed like a gut punch every time. But I laughed because ambition's a hell of a drug, and Victor was the dealer. That night, the city sprawled below us like a glittering trap, the Hudson River snaking black and oily under the Brooklyn Bridge lights. Champagne flutes clinked. Influencers posed for their feeds. And Victor's hand slipped under my dress. Possessive. Promising. "Marry me," he said, not asked, slipping a ring onto my finger that probably cost more than my mom's trailer in Jersey. I said yes because why the fuck not? He was power personified, 35. Heir to Hale Capital. The kind of firm that devoured startups for breakfast and spat out billionaires by lunch. But secrets have a way of festering, don't they? Like that mole on your back you ignore until it's melanoma. 3 months later, the hammer fell. Not on him, on me. I'd been running point on the Meridian merger. A $2 billion play that smelled fishy from the jump. Offshore accounts. Shell companies in the Caymans. The usual song and dance. Victor swore it was clean, that I was overthinking. But I found the discrepancies anyway. Forged signatures. Inflated valuations. A trail of digital breadcrumbs leading straight to embezzlement. $50 million siphoned off. Funneled into his personal slush fund for yachts and mistresses. When I confronted him in his corner office, the one with the Eames chair, and the view that made you feel like God, he didn't deny it. He just smiled that shark grin and said, "You were a mistake,
Delilah."
A pretty one, but still a mistake. By morning, I was the fall guy. Emails I'd never sent, timestamps doctored to look like my fingerprints, a whistleblower report filed in my name accusing the firm of fraud. The SEC raided at dawn, badges flashing like paparazzi bulbs, and there I was in cuffs, paraded past the interns who used to fetch my coffee. Victor watched from his limo, sipping an espresso, his new consultant, some bleach blonde from accounting, giggling on his arm. He took the fall? Bullshit. I took it all. Pled guilty to accessory charges to keep the plea bargain sweet. Got 18 months in Alderson, that white-collar spa for disgraced execs where Martha Stewart did her time. But prisons where you learn the real hacks, not just shank-making from shampoo bottles, but the slow burn of resentment, the kind that forges you into something unbreakable. Out on good behavior after 14 months, I hit the ground running or crawling. Really. No job. No references. Just a felony on my record that screamed unhireable to every headhunter from here to Silicon Valley. Mom died while I was inside, ovarian cancer. Caught too late because I was too busy climbing Victor's ladder to notice her fading. Buried her myself in that plot by the turnpike. The one with the view of the refineries belching smoke like dragon breath. That's when the hate crystallized. Not hot and fleeting, but cold, methodical. The kind of revenge that doesn't end with a bang but a whimper from him. But Victor? He thrived. Promoted to CEO. Married the blonde, now brunette, per the society pages. Popping out a trust fund kid while his net worth ballooned to 9 figures. I watched from dive bars in Hell's Kitchen, nursing IPAs and scrolling LinkedIn on a cracked phone,
Piecing together the how.
It wasn't just forgery, there was tech involved. Something experimental Hale Capital had bankrolled under the radar. Neuralink knockoffs. They called it brain-computer interfaces for enhanced decision-making. But whispers on the dark web forums, yeah. Prison teaches you that too, pointed to more. Full swaps. Consciousness uploads. The holy grail of immortality for the 1%. I dug deeper. Crashing on a cousin's couch in Queens. Hacking free Wi-Fi from the bodega downstairs. Posed as a journalist for VentureBeat. Sweet-talked a disgruntled engineer named Raj who Victor had canned after the merger. Over burner phones and encrypted signal chats. Raj spilled Project Echo, a black-budget DARPA offshoot funneled through the firm. Not just data transfer, full-body hijacks. Victor had tested it on lab rats. Then junkies from the Bowery. Swapping minds like swapping SIM cards. It's not ready, Raj said, voice cracking over the line. Glitches. Feedback loops. But Hale pushed anyway. Said the Meridian funds would fix the bugs. The pieces clicked. My mistake wasn't just the fall, it was the cover. Victor needed a patsy to bury the bodies. Literal ones. From early trials gone wrong, and I was perfect. Ambitious. Isolated. In love. But the real kicker? He didn't just frame me.
He used me.
That rooftop kiss? Laced with a nanodose. Prepping my neural pathways for the swap. The ring? Embedded tracker. Mapping my brain waves. And the plea deal? Coerced under duress. Signing away rights to any proprietary tech in my head. I wasn't just collateral. I was the prototype. Rage is a hell of a motivator. I tracked Raj to a walk-up in Bushwick. Bought him off with the last of Mom's life insurance, $5,000 for the access codes. Slipped into a derelict lab in the Garment District, the kind of place where ghosts of the Triangle Shirtwaist still whisper. The machine was there, humming like a dormant beast, a MRI on steroids, wired to a server farm cooling with liquid nitrogen. No going back. I strapped in, synced my temp profile to Victor's, stolen from his gym app, and hit initiate. The world dissolved in white noise. Synapses firing like fireworks on the 4th. And then... nothing. Blackout. Then light blinding. Sterile. I blinked. And his hands, manicured. Rolex glinting, pushed against a desk. Marble top. Leather blotter. The scent of bergamot cologne.
His office. My office now.
I stumbled to the mirror. And there she was, Delilah Voss. 28 forever. Wide-eyed and innocent. Staring back. But it was me inside. The me who'd rotted in a cell. Who'd buried her mother alone. Victor's body. 6'2" of Ivy League arrogance. Now puppet by a woman scorned. The swap held for 72 hours. Raj warned. Feedback loops would kick in, unraveling the weave. Plenty of time to start the fire. I didn't waste it. First move, his phone. Unlocked with my thumbprint. A flood of notifications. Mistresses sexting. Board members brown-nosing. his wife demanding alimony previews. I forwarded it all to a dummy SEC tip line, with timestamps intact. Then the real play, the audit. Victor's empire was built on sand, tax havens, insider trades, the meridian rot festering at the core. As CEO, I had the keys, digital vaults, encrypted ledgers. I initiated the self-audit from his terminal, a nuclear option buried in the compliance software, designed for exactly this, total transparency. It pinged every regulator from the IRS to FinCEN, cross-referencing every transaction since 2018. By dawn, inboxes across DC were lighting up like Christmas trees. But revenge isn't a sprint, it's a marathon with pit stops for moral quicksand. Walking out of that office in his Armani suit, past the security desk where the guard nodded like I was still the king, I felt the first crack. His body moved wrong, broader shoulders throwing off my gait. A persistent itch in the crotch that made me want to claw my skin off. And the eyes in the elevator mirror?
His
cold blue, appraising the world like meat on a hook. I was him, but not. A ghost in the machine, unraveling at the seams. I holed up in his penthouse on Billionaires Row, the one with the Basquiat on the wall and a bar stocked with single malts older than me. His wife, ex now, per the forward, banged on the door at noon, screaming about the board's emergency call. What the fuck?
beak.
The auditors are coming. I buzzed her in, watched her storm through the foyer in Louboutins, her face a mask of Botox and fury. Up close, she was younger than the society shots suggested, early 30s, with that polished wasp glow from summers in the Hamptons. You promised me clean, she hissed, jabbing a manicured nail into my chest. The prenup's ironclad, but if this tanks, I'm taking the kid and the vineyard house. I almost broke character then. Almost told her the truth, that the man she married was a fraud, body and soul. Instead, I channeled Victor's drawl, low and soothing like bourbon over ice. Babe, it's a glitch. I'll fix it. She bought it. For a minute, melting into a hug that smelled of Chanel No. 5 and desperation. But as she pulled away, her eyes narrowed, something off in my posture. Maybe. Or the way I didn't grab her ass like he would. You look tired, she said, lingering. Everything okay? The lie stuck in my throat, thick as tar. This was the controversial bit. The decision that'd haunt me. Let her in, or let her burn. She wasn't innocent, knew about the slush fund, signed off on the Cayman's wires, but she was a mother now. Collateral in a war I started. I chose the path of least damnation, handed her a USB with scrubbed backups. Enough to float her to safety.
Go, I said.
Before the wolves circle, she fled, and I wondered if that made me merciful or just another manipulator. By evening, the vultures descended. Board call on Zoom, suits from Boston to LA. Faces pixelated with panic. Victor. What the hell? The IRS just froze the 401(k)s. I played dumb, feigning outrage, buying time as the audit wormed deeper. Under the table, I was emailing Raj updates. His responses frantic, loop accelerating. 48 hours max. His body was rebelling, migraines like sledgehammers, phantom itches where nerves misfired. I popped Victor's Adderall stash, chased with scotch, staring at the skyline as copters buzzed like angry hornets. That's when the secret cracked open. The one Victor buried deepest. Not the swaps. Not the embezzlement, a file on his desktop. Password protected with our anniversary. Ironic. That. Echo_final ducks. I cracked it with a brute force script from Prison Hacks, and the world tilted. Project Echo wasn't just tech, it was his origin story. Daddy Hale, the founder, hadn't died of a heart attack in '09, swapped out. Consciousness uploaded to a server farm in Nevada, puppeteering Victor as a host. The son wasn't flesh and blood, he was a vessel, groomed for the throne. And me? Not a mistake, but the endgame. Victor, the real one, the ghost in the machine, had chosen me as the next shell. Loyal, sharp, disposable. The fall, the framing, a neural primer, stress testing my psyche for the hijack. He was going to erase me, slide into my skin, live my youth while I rotted in his decaying frame. The betrayal hit like a freight train out of Penn Station. Not just stolen life, but stolen future, my body, my face, paraded as his redemption arc. I laughed then, a hollow bark echoing off the Traverton floors, because the poetry was too perfect. He'd called me a mistake, I'd make him the epitaph. Night 2. Escalation. I leaked the Echo docs to ProPublica, anonymized through Tor, with just enough redaction to shield Raj. By midnight, Hale Swap trended on X, conspiracy nuts and blue-check journos piling on. Victor's stock tanked 30%. Emergency trading halt. My phone exploded. SEC on line 1. FBI on 2. His lawyer screaming about fiduciary breach. I let it ring, instead drafting the kill shot, a full confession, typed in his voice, scheduled to blast every inbox in the C-suite at 9 a.m.
Sharp.
I did it all, it read. The money, the swaps, the bodies in the Bowery. Delilah Voss was innocent. Check the ledgers. Controversy brewed in my gut. Decisions that'd make a ethics prof puke. Do I name the wife? Expose the board's complicity? Nah, too broad. Too biblical. This was surgical, Victor alone. Crucified on his own cross. But mercy's a slippery slope. I spared the kid. Deleted the family photos from the cloud. Small graces in the abyss. Dawn broke gray and sleety. The kind of New York morning that slaps you awake. Feedback loop hit hard, hallucinations flickering at the edges. Whispers in Victor's voice mocking from the vents. You think you won. Delilah?
You're me now.
I dressed in his best Tom Ford, knotted the tie with hands that trembled, and strode into Hale Tower like a condemned man to his execution. The lobby buzzed, reporters clustered like flies on shit, security parting like the Red Sea. Elevator to the 52nd, stomach churning as the audit emails pinged in real time. A symphony of doom.
His office waited.
Unchanged, the Eames, the view, the ghost of us on the couch where he'd proposed.
He said,
fired the confession, and waited. 10 minutes, crickets. 20, footsteps thundering down the hall. The door burst open, feds and windbreakers, badges gleaming, his board trailing like remorse. Mr.
Hale.
You're under arrest for fraud, conspiracy, and the lead agent's voice blurred as they cuffed me, him, dragging the shell away. Flashes popped. Headlines birthed in the scrum. Hale's CEO confesses in email bombshell. But the real twist? As they hauled me out, past the elevators where I'd first glimpsed this face, a searing pain lanced my skull. Loop complete. The world inverted. white noise swallowing the chaos, and I snapped back. Into me. Delilah Voss, 28 and fragile, slumped in the penthouse bathroom where I'd prepped the escape. Victor's body across town. Arrested. Unraveling without a pilot. I bolted. Subway to Queens. Cousin's couch a sanctuary. News feeds exploded. Hale in custody. Empire seized. Echo exposed as sci-fi horror. The wife fled to Europe with the kid. Raj vanished. Probably sipping my ties in Belize.
Me?
Cleared posthumously.
Voss?
Hale, a landmark. My name in textbooks as the whistleblower who wasn't. But here's the reversal. The truth flipped like a coin in the gutter. I checked the logs later. From a library computer in Flushing. The swap? Bidirectional. Victor hadn't chosen me. He'd begged for it. An encrypted plea to the board. Daddy's ghost. Fading in the servers. Needed a fresh host. Victor, cracking under the weight, volunteered me as tribute. The fall. The framing? Not malice. But mercy, his twisted way to atone. To give me the tools for the kill. A mistake, he'd said, but meant I'm sorry. The audit? His failsafe. Triggered by my access. Was it justice or suicide? I won. Mansion sold at auction. Restitution check fat enough for a fresh start in Portland. Rain-soaked and anonymous. But every mirror mocks me now. My face a mask I almost lost. Hero or monster?
You tell me.
In America, the lines as blurry as a hangover at dawn.